Hello and welcome to Story to Satori. Today I have a very interesting guest from basically from Kenya. His name is John Gora and he's now in Bahrain. So welcome to Story to Satori, John.
Thank you so much, Jahnavi. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be
Yeah,
here with you.
thank you. And in fact, John and I had thought about doing the podcast long time ago, and somehow because of the a lot of work on hand, it just got postponed. And here we are today, and I'm so happy to have him on my show. So let me briefly introduce you, introduce John to you, the viewers across this part of the world that's in India. And some of my followers are from US, and I see some followers are from Canada and Singapore as well. So I want you to know that John hosts his own podcast, which is called One Talk Radio, and he has very interesting guests, and I was one of his guests. In fact, two times, we had two shows, and I was speaking about mindfulness, and it was my honor, John, to be on your show. And if you really go, he has built his social media over a very short time, especially on LinkedIn and Facebook, you see, with his videos and with a lot of posts that he has. There is a lot of buzz around his conversations, basically. And he also has One Nation, that's his mission. He'll talk about more about that. But basically what I want you to understand is he's at his best when interacting with people and builds trusted relationships with people. And so John, can you tell more about the first question I want to ask you is, you are a motivator. You have your Dreamers Club on Facebook, which I am also part of. And you are the voice for kindness, and you have the mission of One Nation. So there are a lot of things that you talk, especially on leadership and on the problems that your age, that millennials are facing. So can you tell that how did this whole idea and what is it that really, what got you started in the first place to start this podcast?
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Jahnavi. It's a pleasure to be here, and also that's a very good question to start with.
yeah.
Um, you've explained so well what I do. My name is John Gora, and I'm hosting a podcast, which I also founded by myself. That is One Talk Radio Podcast. And in line with the connections and what I do on social media is something that is from within. It's a passion. It's a passion because, in this generation that we are today, it is best to get your passion before you get yourself into interacting with people. So I was passionate about conversing. I was passionate about leadership. I was passionate about creating something that would change the world to
Mm,
start bringing us closer. We have internet. We have got technologies. Right now, you're speaking with me all the way from India. I'm in Bahrain, and this video, after maybe only after 30 minutes of this conversation, it will go to every part of this world.
yes.
So what are we sending to the people outside? That was the intention. And that was the need for me to come up with One Talk Radio podcast, and also to start the conversation about bringing people together. So in line with leadership, you see, this world have got so many leaders, billions of leaders, because I always believe each and everyone is a leader in their own capacity. But
Mm,
then, how do we cultivate that leadership? This is the most important thing. And
mm,
coming up with all these things you see I'm doing on social media, especially on Facebook and LinkedIn, is
mm,
to help the youths of my age and those who will come after me, and even the elder people, those
mm,
who were there before, to realize the need to start coming up with some good quality of leadership, because it is not just about leadership. It is
mm,
about the kind of content, the kind of quality you
mm,
give as a leader. Everybody speaks about leadership in quantity. Nobody
mm,
touches it in quality. And that is
mm,
where we need to start focusing. We need to start focusing on what kind of quality do you put outside there as a leader. not
Mm.
how powerful are you as a leader, or what
Yeah.
position do you hold as a leader. So that is what my mission is all about. And
Mm.
there's this thing I tell people. Many people ask a lot of questions in terms of vision, and somebody will ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? To me, I always tell people that my future is timeless. I
Mm.
don't count, I don't gap it. Because
Mm.
look at us right now. Who
Mm.
knew we'd be here with
Mm.
COVID-19? So
Yes.
somebody had planned his two
Yes.
years or 3 years or 5 years
Yeah.
to be something, or somebody, or do something better. So what
Mm.
happens when such kind of a calamity comes in? So
Yes.
can we start speaking, strategizing according to your lifetime, not according to 5 years or 2 years or 1 year or 10 years? Just ask yourself, when I'm
Mm.
still alive on this earth, what am I gonna do that will create a difference? And
Mm.
when I depart this earth, what am I
Mm.
going to leave behind? That maybe even a child of my own will go back and look and say that, yeah, this is the footprint that was left by my father.
Mm.
This where the mission and vision of One Talk Radio podcast is all about. It is not all about 20 years to come. It's not all about 10 years to come. It is all
Mm.
about life that I live right now. In as long
Mm.
as I am alive, there is something that I create every second, every minute. Even when you are sleeping, there is something you're creating, because
Yes.
just
Yes.
sleep closing our eyes. We sleep, but our eyes must be open, Jahnavi.
Yes, 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 absolutely, John. In fact, it's very interesting. I was planning to ask you a question, something like, "What's your vision?" But then I really get that when you say, it's not about a 5-year vision or a 10-year vision. It's about a lifetime. It's in fact what I'm seeing is it's for you a life purpose, right? And so I'm actually, reminded of one of your posts, very recently on a social media, when you say
Mhm.
that just focus on who you are, not what you're going to achieve or get, because many of your age, especially when you're very young, you have that lot of inspiration as well as aspiration, I would say, to achieve many things. And you set out. But there are such uncertainties. Never in our lifetimes we had imagined that we would have a situation like a pandemic right now, what we are experiencing. And so in this situation, most of the people get overwhelmed, and they get actually, they feel so kind of, they are not able to um, understand how to, actually deal with the situation. So what do you believe, how do you think, why people behave like this? And what is your take on that? What should people do? And what do you mean exactly when you say focus on who you are and not on what you're getting? Because this is something very relative, to this situation. What you said just a few days ago is resonating so much. Can you throw some light on that?
Definitely, Jahnavi. This. I want to bring it in this the
Mm.
perspective. You see, if, for example, right now, I would be wishing to be a millionaire or have some real estate, or maybe buy a luxurious car. All right.
Mm.
This is what I want to have. And the question is you particularly as a
Mm.
person ready for it?
Mm.
Are you ready to manage the real estate? Are you ready to manage 1 billion or 1 million in a bank account? Are you
Mm.
ready for a luxurious car like a Lamborghini? Do you
Mm.
know what it takes to have it? So this is what we mean by focusing on yourself. Make yourself ready for what
Mm.
you are thinking of becoming. Because a
Mm.
lot of us think too much about what they want to become and then
Mm.
struggle to become that instead of preparing ourselves towards
Yeah.
what we're looking for. You see, when you make yourself ready, for example, if you are looking forward to receiving visitors, Jahnavi, in your house, you
Mm.
are not you are not anticipating maybe how many they are, or maybe what time they will come, and how
Mm.
am I going to receive them. First of all, you have to make the capacity then in the right way. You must,
Yes.
my house need to have this, and this and that before the visitors come. You're
Mm.
not just going to focus about their coming. You need to focus on what you need. You will offer to them. You prepare your house. You prepare lunch. You prepare a meal. You prepare
Yeah.
the chairs. So when you're
Mm.
working chairs, you're working on the floor where these people will sit. You're working the food they will eat. This is the same way we need to work on ourselves. Develop yourself. Get enough skills. Go for a
Mm.
driving school. You are anticipating to have a Lamborghini. Might be you don't even know how to drive a car. So let's say,
Mm.
for example, you go and you pray to God, God, I need a car,
Mm.
and He gives it to you.
Uh,
You don't know
Yes.
how to drive it.
Yes.
You don't even know how to open the door. You're not you're not ready for it. You did not prepare yourself. So we need
Mm.
to focus first of all on ourselves. Focus on what will create a sudden difference or improvement in yourself. Get good skills that are required. Make connections. Make friendship. Find
Yes.
tags. Learn every day. Be somebody who doesn't know. You know, for me, I approach things with the mindset of I don't know.
Mm.
Even if I
Oh.
know,
Okay.
I
Mm.
approach things mindset of I
Ah.
don't know, so
Mm.
that it gives me a room, an opportunity to learn. Because
Yeah.
because look at it this way: if you are in a group and you present yourself as knowing, nobody will give their mind. They will
Yeah.
listen to you, and the
Mm.
more you speak, the less you learn. The more you listen, the more you learn. So present
Mm.
yourself always as somebody who doesn't know, who wants to learn. And that is how you focus on you and not what you want to have.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you focus on you, you build yourself. You focus on you want to have a real estate, you get to understand, you go to people who have owned it. You find
Mm.
out how do I get this real estate. You are
Mm.
developing yourself. You're focusing on yourself. You're preparing yourself and making yourself ready to receive
Mm.
whatever you want to give out or give back to your society. Jahnavi.
So true, I mean, 100% it rings with me as well. And when you said this, in fact, uh, my next question will be, if you are not ready, to receive, and it makes so much sense, and you examples that you gave were so beautiful, especially the car, and then if you have no idea about how do you open the door and you receive it, so you're not ready, and we are not even talking about law of attraction or anything, though people get always try to attach certain big words. In simple words, you just put it across, which just kind of, I think, people who are watching, who are viewing and listening, they'll get this point. Simply, if you are not ready, don't just try to, first be the person who is ready to receive certain things. And this is such a great guidance a lot of people of your age can get, and that's what the work that you're doing. But I have a question here which is very intriguing me also as well, So what is
Mhm.
the most common things? Why do people give up, very easily? Because they start with this wrong notion that they want to achieve, they want to become a millionaire and a billionaire and such things, and they have the drive, they have energy, they have the push, everything is in place. But as you said, if that one thing, that one missing, link is not there, that you are not ready mentally or emotionally, so why is that the reason why people give up in your experience, or is there anything else that I think we can have in this, explore in this conversation?
That's true, and it's a very good question, Jahnavi. Along the process when I was developing myself, and also when I was trying to get to know who I am very well, because you need to know first of all who you are and what is your passion before you put something outside to the world. I also lost some kind of that energy to pursue some of the things that I wanted to pursue. So when
Mm,
I stayed away and started getting coaching, I realized that the biggest mess that happens around is about missing that kind of knowledge or
mm,
preparing yourself for whatever you want to adventure into. If I
mm,
want to go on a journey, and I always like to do these shows with a simple language. I don't always want to complicate my shows so that
yes.
even a human can understand. This is what
Mm,
I want to tell you. If you want to go on a journey,
mm,
I want I want to go to India, and
mm,
in Kenya, let's say, for example, I'm in Kenya and I want to travel to India.
Mm.
I know I can go buy a ticket and take a flight to India.
Mm.
The question is, there are those who will go into checking what kind of culture is in India, how are people being received there, which part of India is good for whatever I want to go to do, if it's an adventure, if it is just going for a tour or maybe just luxury or family trip, where in particular should I go to in India? Then you prepare yourself, you put all the required luggages, you buy your
Mm.
ticket, you get your visa, and everything is ready.
Mm.
Those will not go to find out where to
Right.
go to India, what kind
Mm.
of culture the Indians have, and what kind of laws and regulations are governing the culture in India. It will be so hard for them to be there. They will
Mm.
travel the they will travel the journey, but
Uh,
along the journey it will not be easy.
uh,
But people who prepare themselves, those who go, nowadays we have technology. You just go to Google. You just type there the Indian culture, which places
that's,
to visit. I want to go for a family trip. Where can I get the best place? It will be easier for them. There are those who will go for tour guides. They will
mm.
go to something like travel and tours facilities, and they get guidance
Mm.
through. It will become easier for them to travel this journey. But if I
Yes.
just wake up one morning and I say I want to go to India for a trip, and I buy ticket, I have the visa, I have even my food, I have something, and I just take myself to the airport and I'm dropped in India. Yes, I will
Yeah.
travel the. I'll have traveled the journey and I will make a story. Yeah, I went to India, but
Mm.
things will never be the same in India as to that
Mm.
person who made himself ready, who knew where exactly and particularly he's supposed to be at what time. That person who took his time to know what not to do and what to do while in India. That person who
Right.
knew what kind of food is in India that I can
Correct.
feed. And
Yeah.
so it still gets us back to, are you
Mm.
ready for it? Did
Yes.
you do something on yourself to walk
Yes.
the journey? If we don't improve or develop ourselves, things are
Mm.
never easy, and people give up because they start, and when things get tough,
Mm.
they feel shy to come
Yes.
aside and ask. They feel
Mm.
shy to find people who can guide them because they passed that process. They jumped it. I would use
Yeah.
the word jump. They jumped that stage. So coming back again to start asking somebody like Jahnavi that, I've wanted to host something like Story Satori, like you're
Uh,
doing. How do I do it? And then Jahnavi is like, but I saw you had started doing it some days before. I
mm.
was shy to come back to you because I had started, but I didn't know what to put in place, what time to have it, who to host, and why am I hosting it. I just got into it because Jahnavi is in it. So
Yes.
still goes back to developing self, knowing yourself better. Are you
Yes.
ready? That's the
Yeah.
question.
Yes. On this note, are you ready and are you prepared? On this note, we want to take a small break and stay tuned for being on Story to Satori with John Gora.